Back like we never left because we never did leave. You got your boy Love on the Hate One and your boy Gil's in the building. And we back at y'all with another radio call. You already know we finna cook. So go ahead and, relax and enjoy some good boxing talk. This fight right here, it looks like Daniel Dubois really wants to put a good hurting on Alexander Usyk in this fight, right? But the thing is, when it comes down to, Alexander Usyk, and this is what I respect about him the most, he's playing a little bit of mind games with Triple D. The whole situation with the low blows. Usyk said that Daniel Dubois landed so many low blows in the first fight that wasn't, called. So maybe he may have a point there. And like I told you guys, we all seen the first fight. We remember what happened. The reason I cannot pick Dynamite to beat Usyk is because he don't have the mental fortitude to do it. Like Triple D, Dynamite, Triple D. Let me stop saying that. No, that shit sound weird. Dynamite has the type of he's the type of fighter where it's like if he's not getting his way, he will want out. Okay. When he's getting his way, okay, man, it's a wrap for a lot of fighters. But when he's not getting his way, it's the problem. And one thing about Usyk, he gets stronger as the fight go on. Like, Usyk, he don't need to face you in a rematch to adjust, right? He adjusts during the fight. And I feel like that's what's, insane about Usyk, man. And I got so much respect for Usyk. I'm an Usyk fan as well. And I personally feel like, man, listen, I think he's going to stop Daniel Dubois again, man. I can see it because the reason what's so bad for Daniel Dubois is, number one, we know your game plan in this fight. Going downstairs to the body. See, to be even close to beating Alexander Usyk, it got to be some sort of element of surprise, We know what the fuck Dubois is going to do in this fight. Come straight forward. He's going to throw a lot of punches. He's going to try to stop Usyk. And I'm not going to even lie. I think he can hurt Usyk, But the problem is Usyk has good recovery. And, man, that boy Usyk knows how to keep on that poker face, man. That's another thing I give Usyk, man. You can hurt Usyk a little bit, but he keeps his poker face on 100. Daniel Dubois, when he's hurt, he's fucking hurt. He don't have no poker face to save his goddamn life. So, like I said, it's kind of easy to pick Usyk in this fight because Usyk, at this point, he's just giving the younger guys a shot. Because he said he's not retiring no time soon. And he just want to beat up all the young guys. And I respect that. And that shows how much of a good fighter you are when not only you're beating up guys your own age, but you're beating up the younger guys too. Dubois is like, 27, 26? He's still a young fighter. And, that youth can be on his side during this fight. But Dubois, he got all the tools. Power, quick. He has like a Mike Tyson type of style. He can box. He goes to the body. The only problem with Dubois is like I said, he has that quit in him. It's there. He quit against Joe Joyce, and he most definitely quit in the second fight against Usyk. You know why? Because he told himself, you know what? I have my moral victory. That's exactly what he told himself. I have my moral victory. I could easily just say, hey, I stopped him. I got robbed of a stoppage. So he was fine with that. Instead of telling himself, you know what, if I could land this shot once, I could do it again, and still try to do it. He wanted out, and we can't use the excuse about Daniel Dubois getting tired because Daniel Dubois, he got a good gas tank. He has a gas tank. He stopped Philip Herkovic late, and he stopped Miller late. And Joshua was, mid-fight. But my point is, he has a good engine. So we can't say, oh, he got tired versus Usyk in the first fight. That's why he got stopped. Nah, he quit in the first fight. That's why he got stopped. But that's my opinion. It's pretty much obvious, Gil, who you rolling with. But just go ahead and, give it in more detail.
He got mentally broken in that first fight. And I think that's how it's going to play out this time because We all know Usyk has the footwork. We all know he can box in there. He could brawl. I think, like you said, if Daniel Dubois has success, that's when he gets dangerous because he'll keep coming. But if he has to face adversity, like let's say he has to take a knee or something, he's ready to quit right then and there, bro. He got mentally broken in that last fight, so that's why I gotta go with Usyk because we saw what Daniel Dubois could do in there when he's having success. He keeps coming, but if he gets challenged a little bit, he's willing to pack it in and say, "I'll just fight another day. I'm still young." So, to me, it's just simple. It's just you know what he's gonna try to do, so you kind of try to avoid it. You try to move, and you go off the jab, and that's what I think Usyk is good at. And he's gonna hurt him, and he's gonna put him down like by round 7.
Man, I could definitely see that, man. Shit. It's just I don't know, man. It's just Usyk is just a bad style matchup for a quitter. It pains me to say it that way because, I don't wish nothing bad on Daniel Dubois, but it is what it is. We just call it how we see it. You cannot be a quitter fighting a guy like Usyk. That's why I thought Fury had a chance against Usyk because Fury's not going to quit no matter what's going down in that ring. So, but Daniel Dubois, he got that quitting though, man, and, that's just not going to be bad. It's just going to be very bad against Alexander Usyk, but, playing devil's advocate though, just to make it more interesting, Gil, you know how we do. Let's just say we're Daniel Dubois' trainer, and what's the game plan to beat Alexander Usyk? What do Daniel Dubois got to do, in your opinion, to pull off the upset?
Use the jab and work off of it to the body first, and then go up top. He's got to use combinations, bro. He's been talking a lot of smack, so he's got to be ready for the counters to come because Usyk looks a little bit angry at some of the stuff he's been saying. So he's got to be ready for that adversity to come. But at the same time, you got to use what you got. You got to use the youth. You got to use the jab. You got to work off of that jab with combinations. I think if he's able to use combinations to the body, there might be some trouble because let's remember, Usyk's not the biggest heavyweight, so you got to wear him down a little bit, lay on him a little bit, push him against the ropes a little bit, get inside and then push him off with your shoulders a little bit. But like I said, the footwork is what makes it complicated for Daniel Dubois because there's not a lot of fighters like Usyk with the footwork. So you got to pick and choose your moments. You got to be smart about it. You can't just go rushing into the body. You got to use the jab to open your leeway inside and things like that. So we shall see what happens.
Oh man, that's like a good coach right there, man. You might want to fill out an application to be his trainer, man. Shit, that's like a good little game plan. But the one thing I will say though, because I feel like he has to be a little dirty against Alexander Usyk now.
I think you have to be because he has that skill, bro. You got to make that you got to counter it with your fierceness, your youth. Yeah. You got to have to be a little bit rambunctious, as they say, and just keep coming with different things, with hits to the back of the head. It's kind of dirty, bro. You got to hit him a little bit low. You gotta do things that you don't normally do to get some kind of mental edge, get you going, and get you shooting combinations, bro. Don't be afraid to shoot combinations when he's done shooting, stuff like that, bro. Like, you gotta be inventive in there because you don't have the same kind of skill, and you're fighting with rounds down, like you say, because Usyk's the champion.
Yeah, the undisputed champion. Well, he basically is undisputed, even though Dubois got the belt. But that's not here. Yeah. There. It's a belt that he basically gave him, like Canelo did with Skull. But but like I said, Daniel Dubois, he got to be dirty, but they're gonna be watching out for a lot of the low blows and shit like that in this fight.
That's what you gotta pick and choose your moments. You gotta choose when the referee's on either side. You gotta go to the other side. You gotta shoot at the hips. I mean, you know how we do. You know how we study this shit. You gotta know exactly where the referee is at any time, bro, and use whatever you got, whatever tricks you got to make it a little bit tougher on your opponent. Right. It doesn't sound pretty, But sometimes you have to do what you got to do if you want that W, right?
Yeah, of course, man. And you know who else is good at that shit too, man? Like, you know, sneaking in punches on the break, and you know, when the referee's on one side, Bernard Hopkins. I swear to God, he was very good at that shit.
He was sneaky, bro. It was frustrating too, because it's like you're complaining to the referee, and the referee's like, "I don't see it. That's bullshit. I don't see it." But he would know when to do it.
Yeah, it's not a crime if you don't get caught. Shit, Bernard Hopkins was a king at that shit. But
I like when fighters shoot at the hips, because it makes you slow down. You start getting hematomas on the hips, and they tighten up, bro, and you can't move as good, and people don't do it that much like in the 70s and 60s, bro. So people got to get back to it.
Yeah.
Maidana used to do it.
Oh, Maidana did it good too. Yeah, he's another one. He was hitting Mayweather with some. But you gotta be dirty with these type of fighters, man. Like Mayweather, Usyk. You gotta be dirty, man. You can't go in there and fight no fucking clean type of fight with these guys.
The reason I say that is because when you let fighters think, the ones that can think fast, they have more success at coming up with a game plan to counter what you're doing. So you don't want to let them think of it. You want to be dirty so that they have to think, oh, now I have to worry about the hits behind the head, or I have to worry about the low blows, or what can I do to stop him, and stuff like that, because they get frustrated. That's what you want. It's not the best move to make, but sometimes when you don't have the same kind of skill like Maidana, he wasn't a real boxer. He was a fighter, so he would use every tactic he knew to kind of get in your head, and that's smart. What you have to do sometimes. So
yeah, and that was very smart on his behalf too. Like that's another subject though. But that first fight with Floyd and Maidana, man, that fight, that was a good ass fight right there, man. Maidana had a good game plan.
I think Maidana won that one.
A lot of people think Maidana won. I had Mayweather win the fight just because he was landing like the more cleaner punches. But I wouldn't have been mad at the draw. You know, I'm not mad at nobody that got Maidana winning that fight too. I feel like he fought a good game plan against Floyd in that first fight to stay on his chest.
I think that was one of the first fights that we talked about, like on your channel, because I was like, I think Maidana took it. Because he kept coming and he was landing punches, but then Floyd started countering with his stuff, so it was close. But I think Maidana had it by 1 point.
Yeah, that's a good fight. I could watch back anytime too. But yeah, man, I personally feel like Daniel Dubois, he may want to fight that type of fight against Usyk, man, because Dubois is quick, and he's one thing about Maidana. When he have fighters on the ropes, it's like, man, you are in trouble. And if he could get Usyk on the ropes like that and land some good shots, man, he could probably have a chance. But the problem is, I just don't see Usyk stand on the ropes, man. And even when Usyk is on the ropes, he knows how to fight off the ropes. A lot of people underestimate that.
Once you get him to the ropes, you have to lay on him, put your weight on him. Because he's not a big heavyweight. So you kind of have to do what you got to do to get on the inside and make it difficult on him. Make him think about all the stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, that's very true. That's a good point.
It's an interesting fight, but I ultimately think that Usyk breaks him mentally again.
I see it too, man. Like I said, another stoppage for sure. Matter of fact, I'm predicting Dubois to quit again. That's how I'm doing.
Because if you think about it, when they have the face-offs, his manager is the one doing all the talking. Dubois doesn't really talk that much, unless you talk about recent times, then he's talking more, but his manager was doing all the talking at first.
Well, Daniel Dubois, he really don't got the gift of gab. That's for sure. He doesn't. He's kind of slow a little bit to me. When I say slow, I'm not talking about his boxing skill or his IQ. I'm talking about like
his mental. Yeah,
his mental. Like he really don't got game like that. He's not gonna. He's not very witty like like a Jarrell Miller or like maybe even like a Tyson Fury. He don't have that type of. He's not a talker. He'll do his stuff in the ring, but he's not that much of a talker where he's gonna talk shit left and right. It's just more like he'll sit there and he'll let you talk at him, but he won't respond that much. Right. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. And I really do feel like sometimes talking is good. To try to get into your opponent's head and shit like that. But he's not gonna get an Usyk head, so I guess that really don't matter anyway.